Notre Dame's athletic director, Jack Swarbrick, has some explaining to do. Is this the Notre Dame's Fighting Irish Canary in the coal mine? Welcome to episode 150 of College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football. We love everything in college football. And if you do as well, if you need that extra college football content to get you through the day, subscribe to our channel. Smash that like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends. Let's not waste any more time. Breaking news last night from ESPN. Utah offensive coordinator Andy Ludwig, who interviewed for the same position at Notre Dame, has informed the Irish that he's staying with the Utes, sources told ESPN's Pete Thamel on Monday night. Sources said that Ludwig's buyout of at least $2 million, the exact number depending on how the buyout impact is interpreted in the contract's rollover year, proved an obstacle in discussions with Notre Dame. $2 million or somewhere around that figure proved an obstacle to get Andy Ludwig, the guy you want to become the new offensive coordinator, to be the leader for Sam Hartman, to be the play caller for Sam Hartman. $2 million was too much. It wouldn't have been too much for Alabama, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Michigan. But it's too much for Notre Dame. We continue. Ludwig, who has spent the past 4 seasons leading Utah's offense, interviewed in South Bend over the weekend and was considered the leading candidate to replace Tommy Rees. ESPN's Heather Dinich reported Friday. Now, this is a report from James from Inside ND Sports rival Notre Dame's report. Utah's Andy Ludwig won't be Notre Dame's next offensive coordinator. Where Notre Dame's search turns next isn't immediately clear. Before Ludwig was interviewed for the position, Notre Dame brought Kansas State offensive coordinator Colin Klein onto campus Wednesday and Thursday to interview for the job. But by Friday morning, multiple reports indicated Klein would be staying at his alma mater, Kansas State. Freeman appears to be hamstrung in his search for an offensive coordinator if Ludwig's buyout was a concern. The Irish are also in need of an offensive line coach after Harry Heitstein announced his retirement Sunday. The thought was Ludwig may have wanted to bring offensive line coach Jim Harding with him, Utah's offensive line coach. That would have required another buyout payment. Was that the breaking point? Is that why Notre Dame refused to bring him in? Is that why Jack Swarbrick said this is too expensive? Now, there's some very angry Irish fans. Irish Breakdown FN from Brian Driscoll late last night. Notre Dame refuses to pay buyout to hire Andy Ludwig. Notre Dame will not be bringing in the offensive coordinator after refusing to meet the school's buyout demands. Now, I think this article here expresses the feelings and emotions of most Notre Dame fans this morning on February 14th. Notre Dame refusing to pay Ludwig's buyout is an incredibly bad look for the higher-ups. It is one thing to refuse to get into the pay for play NIL recruiting landscape. That's an understandable take for a program like Notre Dame. But not being willing to pay for a buyout for a coach that your head coach has identified as the best guy to lead your offense is unacceptable. Forcing the staff to settle on a candidate it clearly didn't view as the best option not only hurts the program, it's a blow to the players, the university that says it's all about making sure the players are taken care of. There should be no reason for Notre Dame not to be willing to pay whatever buyout necessary to get a coach of Ludwig's caliber and proven ability as a coordinator and teacher. Whoever Notre Dame brings in will be viewed as a coach that head coach Marcus Freeman had to turn to after missing out on his top candidate, simply because the leadership of the athletic department was unwilling, or maybe they just couldn't do it. We'll get to that in a second. To pony up the money to make this kind of big move. Make no mistake, landing Andy Ludwig would have been a home run for Freeman in the football program. He has a proven track record of developing quarterbacks and putting outstanding offenses on the field, usually without talent like what he would have inherited at Notre Dame. It feeds into the stigma that Notre Dame is unwilling to truly do what it takes to win. You can stand on a more high ground when it comes to NIL. I don't agree with that. Or altering your academic standards. I do agree with that. And those are righteous causes. But refusing to make sure Notre Dame's coaching staff is filled with the best of the best simply because a school with the resources that Notre Dame has doesn't want to fork over the dollars is the ultimate reason the leadership at Notre Dame is an ultimate stumbling block for the football team to truly compete for a championship. The only thing I would question is, do they have the resources? Do they have the resources? Are they projected to have the resources in the years ahead? We're going to get to that here in episode 150. Stick with us. Pete Thamel, again, last night tweeted out, Utah offensive coordinator Andy Ludwig is staying at Utah. His buyout proved an obstacle in discussions with Notre Dame. Reported by many reporters out there, it was the money, it was the buyout that Notre Dame did not want to meet. Angry fans, Irish fan and MD, cannot find the words to express my anger if this is true. Freeman should find a better job. He deserves better than this. Truly a landmark moment for Notre Dame football. Adjust your hopes accordingly, I guess. And here is UHND.com. Notre Dame has an $18 million endowment fund. Can't pay a $2.8 million buyout. Those endowments at Notre Dame and other universities are not used to pay for buyouts for coaches. Those endowments are usually tied to a specific means for a specific cause inside each university. The problem with Notre Dame is Jack Swarbrick, they were not willing to meet that buyout. But is there a bigger concern? Is there a canary in the coal mine? We at Peek Around the Corner believe there is, and we've been talking about it since the day we opened up this channel. The world is changing on Notre Dame. These super conferences that are being built in the SEC and the Big Ten, they're going to be creating new revenue streams. You saw the big, huge new media deals that both schools are receiving. Big Ten in 2023 with NBC, CBS, and Fox, and with SEC, with ESPN starting in 2024. Mega money is coming in, and those super conferences are going to be able to create new revenue streams. We've been talking about it with sponsorships, with sports books. A whole lot of different revenue streams are going to be created. Conferences are getting more and more powerful in this new world of college football. Remember what Jack Swarbrick said. Let's get to it right now. Swarbrick recently told, now this article was a couple months ago, Swarbrick recently told ESPN's Heather Dinich, excuse me, there are 3 potential reasons why remaining as an independent could become unsustainable. The loss of a committed broadcast partner, the loss of a fair route into the postseason, or such an adverse financial consequence that you had to reconsider. Is this Jack Swarbrick reconsidering? Is he going to use this issue to drive this issue of not being able to pay for a buyout of $2.8 million? Will he and other people at Notre Dame who do want Notre Dame to leave football independence, is this their wedge issue? Is this their aha moment? There are different factions at Notre Dame. Are they going to use this issue to say, look, we need to relook at this. We do not have the resources. We do not know if NBC is going to pony up and give us the contract that we need, the media contract, for us to be able to continue to compete at the highest levels of college football and our other sports in our athletic department. And when you might ask about, what about NBC? They're going to give Notre Dame $60 million. Are they? That's the question. report just came out yesterday afternoon. NBC hopes to make an aggressive bid to bring back the NBA, sources say. NBC's been without NBA basketball for 20 years. NBA is coming up for bid. They're putting their content on the open market. And NBC is going to make an aggressive bid to get some of that NBA content, some of that NBA packages. And then we get another report that NASCAR writes. This was in January 30th from Sports Business Journal. Just this morning, they doubled down on this report. NASCAR writes new deals could come by early summer. And NASCAR wants to stay in business with Fox and NBC. So NBC is going to re-up, keep that NASCAR content, go after heavily for the NBA content that's coming up. They're going to be battling the likes of Amazon to keep all of that content, to try to get back a lot of that NBA content that they lost 20 years ago. So is NBC, are they going to be willing to pony up? They've got the Big Ten contract, a big part of it. They got the primetime game Saturday night. They're shelling out huge money, $350 million a year to the Big Ten. $350 million they're going after the NBA. That's going to be settled this year. Are they going to get it? And they're going to re-up with NASCAR. Is there any money left in the till to go after Notre Dame, to have the interest of Notre Dame? You better believe that NBC would love to fold Notre Dame into the Big Ten. So Jack Swarbrick, you have a lot of explaining to do. You brought in Andy Ludwig. They brought him in for an interview Friday over the weekend. They knew what the buyout number was, or they had a good sense of what it was going to be. And now they refuse to pay it. Notre Dame. Can they continue on as is, as a football independence? It's a high-risk game. It's a high-risk game for Jack Swarbrick. He's got some explaining to do. He's going to have to come out and explain why they don't have the resources to get this done. And if they don't have the resources to get an offensive coordinator to come in when they have the most promising quarterback coming into their football program for 1 year, Mr. Sam Hartman, when you can't make that buyout work, then you've got issues at Notre Dame. It is the true canary in the coal mine. Put down your comments in the comments section below the video. Let me know what I've got wrong. If I did get anything right, put down your comments. I read them all. Notre Dame, they have a lot of decisions to make in the next few years as we head towards, as what we call here at Peek Around the Corner, the 2026 Gold Rush. Until next time, from all of us at Peek Around the Corner to all of you, please, you all take care of each other. Thank you so very much.